Hello, everyone. Well, it's been a very difficult week, and um, it's been many close calls in the sky with airplanes. All sorts of different. Everything you can imagine goes wrong with the airplanes now. Everything goes wrong with the airplanes. Everything you can imagine goes wrong with the airplanes. The airplanes have people on board threatening other people are getting into fights. uh, Pilots, sudden turbulence in the air, turbulence from air storms. The pilots are t- going through maneuvers to avoid a midair collision. There's been already there's been midair collisions. So the video is breaking up. It's breaking up. Well, these midair collisions. So we're getting to this. We're getting into the midair collisions. It's been some near misses recently, and the people hit the ceiling of their airplane, and they were disoriented, and they didn't know what to do because they hit the ceiling of their airplane, and the ceiling of the airplane was they hit it hard, and it was because the pilot had to dive like 500 feet down in just a matter of seconds, and everybody that wasn't buckled up hit the ceiling. It was like 25 people were unbuckled, and they all hit the ceiling at once. So yeah, that's the way it goes. Waiting for my video to come back to normal. I don't know if it's going to come back to normal. Might come back to normal, might not. So they hit the ceiling of the airplane, and it's not back to normal yet. Now it's back to normal. Now we're finally past it. Okay, so they hit the ceiling of the airplane, and they sustained injuries. All of them that hit the airplane ceiling sustained injuries, but it was because the pilot had to dive like 500 feet to avoid a near air collision with a fighter jet. It was a military plane that he almost collided with, and he had to drop 500 feet, and the people that weren't buckled in hit the ceiling of the plane and got smashed up. And this was it was just terrible thing. And that we continue to see like turbulence in the air that causes the plane to shake, and it causes people to get injured. And we continue to see people making threats on the plane, and we continue to see malfunctions with the planes. The planes malfunctioning, and things like a tire that is not working properly. A tire that doesn't work properly causes an explosion. Like, I believe that, but it's possible, I suppose. And there's just been so many bad things happening with planes lately. You just have to wonder if it was all planned out like that. Like, could they have deliberately sent a plane into a turbulent area of air to cause this? Or is that just a happenstance? Or is it because there's just so many airplanes in the air that one of them had to have turbulence eventually? And why did they never report the turbulence before now? Why are they reporting the turbulence now? Because there's turbulence on airplanes every day, and they never get it reported. It never makes the news. So you kind of have to wonder what the cause is. What is the cause of all of this turmoil with the airplanes? And I think that we know that some of it is a setup. Some of it is rigged. Not all, but some. It's to make people nervous about riding on airplanes, isn't it? Isn't it? Because if you know that you can't trust the pilot, can't trust the people that fix the planes, you can't trust your fellow riders, then yeah, you're going to have a problem. And you're going to have a multitude of problems. And they could all happen at once. So what can we do? What can we do with these problems with the airplanes? Are we helpless? It seems like we're helpless to make a difference, doesn't it? Seems like we can't make a difference. We're helpless and we're vulnerable no matter what. And it's the airplanes that they're targeting right now. Who's targeting the airplanes? That's what we want to know. We don't know who's targeting the airplanes. It could be a bad actor from overseas. It could be a concerted effort by terrorist groups. It could even be a domestic terrorist. But we don't know what's causing this. We don't even know if it's an elite that's causing these problems with the airplanes, or whether it's a secret conclave of elite people. We don't know. We're in the dark as far as that's concerned, because they haven't revealed any concrete evidence yet that we can go by. There's no concrete evidence to go by. So without concrete evidence to go by, we're not going to know what's happening with our airplanes. And it's too bad, because we enjoyed a good run, didn't we? Did we enjoy a good run with the planes? No problems for many, 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 many years. And the occasional, when you actually heard about a plane crash, it elicited immense surprise, because it wasn't expected, and it wasn't there. You didn't know that it was coming, and after it was done, there was nothing else for a real long stretch of time. So this, where all the planes are having problems at once, I think it's a sign. And I think it's a sign that someone wants us to not ride on airplanes. Someone wants us afraid to take an airplane ride. They're afraid of the pilots. They're afraid of the people who fix the planes, the engineers. And they're afraid of other passengers. And afraid that something's going to go wrong with the plane in mid-flight. And they'll have to be diverted somewhere that they weren't expecting it to be diverted to. And so this has happened in India, it's happened in the U.S., and possibly some other countries too, I'm not sure. But there's been problems with airplanes all at once. There was recently, like I told you, the near miss with a fighter jet that was at a rally or something. They were doing a flyover for the state fair or something, and while they were doing the flyover, they almost collided with a jet, and the jet had to drop 500 feet to avoid the collision, and people hit the ceiling. And there was the rollover plane accident that happened in Toronto. Happened at the Toronto airport. They were trying to land it. There was something wrong with the landing gear. The whole plane flipped over and then it exploded, but everyone survived, which was a miracle. But a lot of people were injured. And there's been some other near misses. The other day there was a unruly passenger that had to be subdued, and he was getting into a fight with somebody that was next to him in the seat next to him. He was fighting with them, and they had to restrain him. And then there was there's just so many incidences recently. Oh yeah, the turbulence, the plane that encountered turbulence that injured several people. And it's just all happening at once. All of these bad things with the planes are all happening at once. And it's hard to know why. I can't give you an explanation, but I think that somebody's behind it, and whoever's behind it should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who's doing it. Could be anyone that's involved with the planes. So we don't know. And then also in the news has been the Palestinians who are starving to death. Palestinians are starving to death. There's been 193 malnourishment deaths past. Oh no, it's breaking up again. Breaking up again. There's been malnourishment deaths in the past few weeks, maybe a month. There's been people starving to death in record numbers. And the people are so desperate for food, they're running and grabbing anything they can from the aid workers. And there's been some Israeli troops that got scared. They were scared of this crowd coming to grab the food. They were scared of the crowd, so they opened fire on the crowd and killed several people that were running to get the food. And I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So these crowds are desperate for food, and they're not getting the food in because the Israelis are hampering their efforts, and they have to have a security guarantee, and without a security guarantee the UN won't go in. And the Israelis, the situation has spiraled out of their control. And I told the guy Netanyahu months ago, I told him, via video, that he should feed the people of Palestine. If he was going to have an invasion, he didn't want it to become a humanitarian crisis, so he should feed the people. Well, he's just done the opposite. He hasn't fed them, and now the people are claiming it's genocide. And it might well be genocide. It might be that Netanyahu has been plotting the death of many of these Palestinians, that he's been plotting their death, and that he's deliberately starving them into submission. And there's been some Israelis that have been protesting aid going in and trying to prevent the aid from going in because they want the Palestinians to starve to death. And so this has become a humanitarian crisis on all levels. And there's no way out for Netanyahu except to get that food to those people. He has to get them the food. And the food is nearby. Okay, it's already inside of Gaza. Gaza, there's already stockpiles of food that are just sitting there, and nobody's getting the food. It's enough food to feed all of the Palestinians in Gaza for a whole week, and they haven't gotten it in. They haven't distributed it yet. It's just sitting there, and they haven't distributed it yet. It's just a few miles away from where the Palestinians are. And it's just terrible. It's terrible. How can they do this to human beings? How can they starve them to death? It's a crisis, and I'll tell you what, the Israelis are making plenty of excuses for not feeding these people. They're saying, "Oh well, the crowds ran toward our troops, and our troops were scared, so they shot at them, and then we never went back. We never went back after that because we were too scared of the people that were rushing to get the food." Just sounds like some sad excuses to me. You know who buys all these excuses and sucks them all up and believes them and uses them like their gospel truth? My ex-friend. My ex-friend is Jewish, and she watches the Israeli news on her TV every single day. Every single day she watches Israeli news, and whatever they say, she parrots it back, and she believes every word of it. Like the things where they had to bomb Palestinians and kill kids because there were some Hamas leaders that they wanted to take out, and to take out the Hamas leaders, they had to blow up the kids also. Big excuse, right? She bought it. She bought it. My ex-friend bought it hook, line, and sinker, and she would repeat whatever she heard on these Israeli television stations. And all the media is rigged and controlled by the Israeli government there. So if you get your news, consider the source, right? Consider the source. Consider whether or not what you're listening to is just totally biased. It's biased. And also, if you're believing biased news, then you're either gullible or you're evil. Gullible or evil. I think my friend is not gullible. She's not my friend anymore, my ex-friend. She's not gullible, so she must be evil. I think she's evil. I really do. Because I saw the way she treated me firsthand. So I can attest to the fact that she's evil. But anyway, yeah, these Palestinians are starving. They're starving to death. And no one is feeding them. And if they don't get fed, then we're going to have to call it what it is. It's a genocide. It's a genocide. Like there's genocides in the Bible that were approved by God. And so they go by the Bible, right? They go by whatever the Bible says. So the Bible says that there were genocides approved by God. They're like rubber stamp. Boop, boop, boop. Genocide approved. Genocide approved by God. And so, which is ironic considering what the Nazis did to the Jews. You'd think they would have learned their lesson from that, wouldn't you? Not to commit genocide because they were subjects of genocide and were starved to death just like the Gazans are being starved to death now. It's sad. Why can't you see that you're just doing the same thing? You're just doing the same thing that the Nazis did. But they can't see it because they're listening to Israeli TV and they're totally brainwashed. They believe every word. Oh yeah, the Israeli troops had to shoot at those Palestinians because they were being mobbed and they were afraid for their lives. They just shot at them. They hadn't even reached the truck yet and they were shooting at them. There were people running for their lives. Netanyahu has to feed the Palestinians if he's going to continue to make war on them. He has to feed them and make sure they're all fed, even if the food goes to Hamas in some instances. They have to make sure that the people get fed or it's no-go. They can't continue this. So I'll leave you with that for this week. I hope that someone does something to help the Palestinian people get fed and I hope that these plane near misses don't continue. But one thing that will continue, and we know it's going to continue no matter what we do, is the flooding and the mass casualties here in America from the floods and the hot weather that kills people. And there's not anything we can do about it except change our lifestyles. All of us will have to change our lifestyles. And not all of us are willing to change our lifestyles, so this is going to continue. So you guys have a great week. Take care. And remember that there's some things that we just can't control that are out of our hands, but we do our best every day to try to make this world a better place to live.